Hello everyone, my name is Clifton Boswell, and have you ever been giving a presentation or a speech, and the people you're talking to or the audience members just seem very uninterested or just bored in general? Well, today I'm going to talk about contrast in delivery, and in this presentation I'm going to show you the passion you need in a presentation and starting discussions and arguments to keep the presentation or speech more interesting. And in the midst of those discussions might come a little controversy in how that can cause a more interesting presentation. And in the end, just, you know, bringing your own style to it to keep your confidence levels high and just, helping get you in the right frame of mind to present. So first of all is passion. And passion is just, it's a really hard thing to fake when presenting, because if you're presenting something that you don't like yourself, it is just hard to fake. And that leads me to say, uh, try to find a job that you're interested in, because if you go through life and doing something that you really don't like, then you're just gonna live your days out miserable, and that is just something that nobody really needs to do at all. And it'll help. It'll be hard, like I said, presenting something you really don't have any interest in. So how can the audience members be interested in it if you're not even interested in it? Now, passion is all about having energy, and that energy comes from the inner conflict you have or the feelings you have on the inside about the topic. And this might lead to some unprofessional words such as like swearing. And that actually brings me to a story I remember when I was in high school. I had a high school football coach that was a very passionate speaker, and before games, he would just get the whole team riled up, and you could just see from his body language and the way he spoke of how you just knew he loved the sport. And not even that, just the way he did stuff around us, like how he took care of the field and just took care of stuff throughout the season. But what really I held close was his speeches. You could just he would always make some sort of noise, or he would cuss up a storm, like I said, and you could just really see the passion just in what he said. And that really, the things he's said in the past and the way he coached us throughout the year really uh, made me one of the way I am today. And I just thought I'd bring that up because I think that is a very good example of a passionate speech. Now, the next thing to keep things interesting is discussions. And don't be afraid to get into a discussion, because, uh, you might think you'll lose an argument or something. Um, because discussions lead to a more passionate presentation, as I said before. More passion shows that you're interested. And when getting into discussions, things might get heated. So, something like this takes quite a bit of courage and skill to do. Uh, in reality, now discussions are way more interesting than just a normal monologue that you would do uh, regularly. So for a discussion to work, there needs to be some sort of conflict, something that somebody else can contradict or, bring their own opinion to. Uh, and sometimes you might need to get a little angry when conflicting with other people, just to keep them really into it. And that brings me back to uh, my coach once again. You know, in the heat of the moment, in a game, uh, the player might be very angry, and you know, the coach and the player might get very, very bump heads, and each one another might get very angry. And after that's done, once we get into the locker room and they start giving the speech, they can write off that anger, and it really helps them listen to the coach a little bit more. But in a professional setting, when having a discussion, you want to try to avoid the professionals in the audience. Like when discussing something, you don't want to, present an argument, but have it get shut down immediately and just ruin your whole presentation. But sometimes in these discussions, it might lead to a little bit of controversy. So, like I said, you want to avoid the experts, but if you're present that discussion, but nobody else is really contradicting what you're saying, or like nobody's presenting their counter argument, what you're saying isn't really that interesting. So having a bit of controversy makes topics easier to get into and just helps people want to listen to what you're saying. In this case, you may lose some of these controversial topics, like I said, if you get into an argument with a professional or an expert in the topic. But it just helps with the overall audience's just involvement in your discussion. You don't want to get too controversial, because you may up offending someone or hurting somebody's feelings and just really kind of ruining your reputation. So when you do a controversial discussion, you don't want to get too controversial, but you want to be controversial enough to have people talk back or counteract your discussion. Now, finally, when presenting stuff or giving a speech, you want to bring your own style to it, and I feel like that's one of the more important things, because if you got to be unique, because you just don't want to be like, you don't want to be bland in what you're doing. But being unique doesn't mean you can't draw from or be inspired by other presenters. And if you're not very confident in yourself, maybe try at first imitating someone, and once you start getting used to their style and the way they present stuff, maybe try bringing your own twist to it, and get more confident in how you do things. So maybe the next time you present, you can really just be like yourself, or just make it feel like you do. It's just like any other thing you do as yourself. And I feel like this is very important, because if you're just trying to be basic and whatnot, one thing I don't think the person themselves will be very into what they're talking about, but the audience will see that and just be like, man, this person is just like any other presenter, kind of bland. And yeah. To conclude, passion is a very big part in presenting and giving a speech. Like I said before, my coach, who was very passionate in the things he did in football itself, just very, very important to keep an audience interested. And another thing is the discussions and arguments you have to keep the things interesting, having people go back and forth, and just having confidence in that discussion itself. And with those discussions might come a bit of controversy. And if no, like I said, if you present a discussion and there is no controversy at all, then what you're saying is just very bland and uninteresting. So having that controversy, is very, very important, but try not to go too far with it. And last but not least, which I think is one of the most important things, is when presenting, try to bring a bit of your own twist to it, and just be yourself in the end, and just you know, come out and just be you. And I think that's it. I just want to thank you all for coming out, and yeah, thank you.